It is now 2:37 in the morning on the 30th of July. Had a lovely sunset and the sunrise is not far away, and about half an hour ago we made a meaningful turn south. We left Grimsey and we cruised along on a same sort of latitude. We've got around the Langans headland and now we are doing a 170. So that is it. This season's North Passage has come to an end and we are now going back south. I can't tell you what adventure is or where it can be found. I can't tell you how to chase your dreams. I don't need to make a sound. Your dreams are real, alive and well, and you can be easily led as soon as you choose to listen to your heart rather than the words in your head. Welcome back on board Altor of Down as we cruise south down the East Icelandic coast in brutal conditions. Maybe this looks idyllic, but believe me, this is nothing but hard graft for the crew. When you are fully immersed in this survival mode, all you can do is grit your teeth, grin and bear it. Don't even think about resting. There is no time for that. Instead, you must dig deep, call on all of your reserves and get on with the job at hand. Sometimes you must accept that life afloat is this tough. The breeze has come up nicely as we come in here. 21 knots now, so we're getting ourselves over towards the land so we can bear away nicely into the fjord. At last, the hell, high water and fury of these latitudes on this day was over. We ducked into the fjord and found a place to moor Altor at the town of Neskaupstadur. The next day, we hired a car and drove south. Along the way, we were distracted by this glacier, so we pulled over for a look. What we found there was both beautiful and horrific. People simply stood by and watched as what we assumed were non-paying tourists were captured, dressed in orange jumpsuits, loaded into massive steel trolleys and disposed of in the frigid waters. We thought it best not to ask questions, so we were simply left to wonder whether they had been washed out to sea or taken by the sea monsters laying in wait at the entrance. I comforted Asher at the water's edge and carefully explained that we had to get the hire car back that day, so we might as well make the most of it and have a look around. Soon enough, the beauty of this glacier and the enormous ice cubes that get pushed out to sea here made us forget about the events of the morning, although I did make a mental note to write a strongly worded email. It's totally unreasonable to be doing this in full view. It makes it very difficult to pretend it's not happening. But just then, as I stared out into the distance, to my surprise, I saw the prisoners being returned to shore. We had no idea whether this had just been an exercise or maybe a warning. From where we were standing, everyone on board looked to be safe and well, but the mood was certainly sombre, so we refrained from whooping and cheering their return. Looking back now, I think this was very considerate of us, because they drove up the beach and disappeared around the back of the hill and they were never seen again. By now, it was late and we had to return the car, so we left. But apparently, no one actually knows whether they were released back into the wild or served later that night as dinner. Welcome to Neskaupstadur. wandering around this beautiful part of the Icelandic coast got me wondering, how on earth has the rest of the world got itself in such a rush? This place gives you the opportunity to just slow down and take it all in. In fact, you can't rush here because something strange happens. You feel like a regeneration process has started in your body. You just wander, observe in wonder, and feel yourself fill up. When you've finished staring out to sea, you can take the slightly higher path back into the countryside. Everything feels like it's in harmony, almost melodic. Being immersed in so much greenery, nature, sunshine and flowers certainly has its effect, and on some more than others. Things were about to get strange.
I think it's totally possible to have a psychedelic experience singing on in this pipe. When I close my eyes, I feel like it's vibrating, like the sound is coming back at me. I think it's awesome. I love it.
Who would have thought that going into a drainage tunnel would be so much fun?
I know.
The drainage tunnels pass through these huge walls that have been built to protect the town from avalanches. And like the walls of a secret garden, there is an oasis within. Generally, I am more interested in the future than I am with the past, so you won't normally find me making a beeline for a museum. This is going to blow your mind. But when one is next to the dock you're moored at, why not?
It's incredible, isn't it?
We were totally unprepared for such an amazing array of stuffed reptiles, fish and birds. And whilst we all prefer animals alive and kicking, we learnt a lot by walking around this place. To be honest, it felt like someone's life collection rather than a museum. Downstairs, there was an impressive array of tools and contraptions from yesteryear. I guess I must have been distracted because I only became aware of a problem when we got to the chains, pulleys and axe section, where Asher's behaviour gave me cause for concern. Yep, software glitch, disconnect power pack, fast. I ensured Asher had cooled down in the fresh air before reboot, and everything came back online. You know that life is good when the only thing that makes you sad on a daily basis is the thought of leaving these lovely places that we visit. But that is the floating gypsy life, and as we have said before, it comes with goodbyes. We live with the world spinning beneath us. We are always home, but never in one place for long.
Mission completed. I spent the rest of the money on booze.
Well, it's not a bad thing to do with it, I guess. So, mission this end, we've now got full tanks of water, and today we're going to say farewell to Iceland. In what? Probably an hour's time, I would guess. So I've put the second reef in the main, which is very conservative, but we haven't got the ideal weather window, but when do you get the ideal weather window? I think we might be a bit on the beam or ahead of the beam for a while, but it shouldn't be too windy. And I think if we don't take this one now, well, we're not going to have anything for 10 days. So I think we've got to take it, don't you?
Yeah, time to go. Faroe Islands are calling.
They are. What an awesome experience it's been for a month.
It was so good. We have been here just over a week. Very pretty town. And we are leaving Iceland after 4 weeks. It was so awesome to be here. Had great weather, great places, and great skipper here.
Got a great skipper, let's go on autopilot straight away.
Oh,
That's it.
well done.
I'm done. See ya.
Aren't you so great?
So this is us leaving Icelandic waters and the dramatic scenery behind. Just past midday. Hopefully this will be 44 to 50 hours passage time. Meant to have a bit of breeze, maybe up to 19-20 knots on the beam is my optimistic thought. And after a fantastic time in Iceland, we are heading back to the Faroe Islands.
We are 14 hours into the passage. Sky in the north has beautiful colors in the sunset. It's really spectacular.
Just up from my slumber. 3 hours of half asleep, half awake. I quite enjoy it actually. You have to be a bit more tired than this to sleep properly, but it's nice to be curled up and warm. And I've come up to 16 to 18 knots of breeze. Boat's nicely balanced. We're doing 6 knots or so. Well, it's Ash's turn to go and get some shut-eye, but I know why she's reluctant to, because the morning sky is gorgeous. Being on passage is like being in a time warp. Everything slows down. Altor slips into a groove and the miles pass, slowly but steadily.
There are squalls going through, so I have reefed the jib. We have up to 22 knots of wind. The visibility dropped a little as there is a bit of misty rain. And Mark is stacked up right here.
I think we're in the midway zombie time when you're just really, really tired. But we're doing well. We managed to get ourselves far enough east to have the wind just behind the beam. We got 15 to 18 knots. And on board, which is a really good thing. Sign of a good passage.
Yeah.
Just carry on cruising downwind towards the Faroe Islands. Yes! Someone's getting dressed for bed.
You have to be warm, you know. It's a blanket for you.
I hope you get some sleep.
I hope so too.
Are you setting an alarm or am I getting you up?
I'm setting the alarm.
Okay.
It's just because if I don't set the alarm, then I'm waking. Well, I'm not really waking, but I'm checking time all the time. And
That's exactly why I do it.
being anxious.
Yeah.
Are you gonna come down and wake me? Is
Yeah.
it time to go? Is it time to go? So I just rather take my brain out, even if I don't sleep.
Agreed.
I'm leaving with the blanket. I'm
Thank
gonna take the big one from the upper bunk.
Cool. Right, sleep well. See you in a few.
See you. We are 36 hours into the passage and it's actually dark. That's the first time I see proper night since leaving Peterhead. It's pretty amazing. I think I prefer the bright.
46 hours after leaving Iceland, we are rewarded with a murky sight of the Faroe Islands, which is great news. This time last year, to the day, we arrived into the Faroe Islands, an unfamiliar land. And a year later, we've been back. We left to go north, and now we're back again. That feels pretty good to be returning to a familiar land. I think we all appreciate the safety and security of familiarity It doesn't seem to matter how much time we spend offshore. There are always nerves associated with leaving land behind. But the feeling of reaching your destination under your own steam more than makes up for the nerves. It is, for me, what makes me feel truly alive. Our month in Iceland had been a dream trip. We pushed ourselves to our furthest point north and were rewarded with some incredible life experiences. And this all comes from pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So to us, that's more than worthwhile. Tied up in Klaksvik, Icelandic mission complete, and back in the Faroe Islands. Well done, Ashi. I hope you can forgive some of my wild imagination throughout parts of this episode. We'd also like to say thank you very much indeed for watching and sharing our Icelandic adventure with us. We really hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please stay tuned for our next episode. Altor out. You can hear the calls when you press the... This one here is the common Essex bird.
Oh, really?
What are you fucking looking at?
The only thing I can do now is get wasted! I found the predecessor of your little...
Don't say little chopper.
little chopper.